Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Good to see you all once again. We are back for yet another edition of Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Tisha. We are right here on live with you. And tonight we ask you to gather around for a very special edition of the program this evening. I see that there are comments already coming in, but you all know these glasses don't have enough juice in them for me to read the comments. So I'm going to ask Sister Tisha to help me because I'm
Hi.
not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. But
Just
we are we are
not even a
glad.
little bit, Shane. Not a little.
Not,
Not. It's okay. It's okay.
not even a little bit. No, no. But I'm going to ask you all, let's get ready for a great night's discussion. As is the case every night, we pray that you and your family are doing well. I'm going to turn over the housekeeping portion of the program to the world's greatest co-host. That's right. Not only the world's prettiest, but the greatest co-host, the great Sister Tisha Muhammad. T?
Assalamu alaikum, family. Thank you so much, everyone. I just want to remind you to help us grow this platform, and by doing that, all you simply need to do is go over to our YouTube page, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha, and hit like, share, and subscribe. And then go right over to Facebook and do the same. You go to my page, Tisha Muhammad, like, share, and subscribe, and then go to Jamil Muhammad, like, share, and subscribe. All right? Take it away, Ham. You ready?
All
Yeah.
right, all right. There is a lot to do, and I'm very glad that we have an opportunity to do it. Tonight, our very special guest, as I'm sure you have heard from the public announcements and the buzz, the word on the street, if you will. Our guest tonight is one of the most accessible public intellectuals in the world, and certainly in the world of the Black diaspora. He's our brother, student minister, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, who sits on the Shura Executive Council, which is the governing body of the Nation of Islam under the direction and guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's also a member of Minister Farrakhan's research group. Dr. Muhammad, of course, holds a bachelor's degree in religious studies from Morehouse College in Atlanta, a master's degree and doctorate degree in Islamic studies from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Go Blue. Uh, he's taught at the University of Michigan, Michigan State University, the University of Toledo, and most recently at San Francisco State University on the West Coast. Dr. Muhammad is published in several peer-reviewed scholarly journals and has also written for the Final Call newspaper, the Nation of Islam's flagship periodical. Dr. Muhammad is the author of several books, including Understanding the Assault, all right, Understanding the Assault on the Black Man, volumes 1 and 2,
Yes.
and the Book of God, an encyclopedia of proof that the Black man is God. These are books that our guest tonight is the author of. He's appeared on Revolt Television's hip hop platform, The Breakfast Club, with hosts Charlemagne the God, Angela Yee, and DJ Envy, as well as on Vlad TV with DJ Vlad. In 2015, Dr. Muhammad presented with Rock Nation artist J Electronica at Oxford University in England, okay?
Wow.
Most recently, Dr. Muhammad is prominently featured in filmmaker Tariq Nasheed's new version of Hidden Colors documentary entitled Buck Breaking. So there's a lot to be considered with our guest. We don't want to delay. We want to get him before you in due time. Please welcome to Nothing But the Truth, our brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, sir and
So
ma'am.
good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Yes,
Beautiful,
indeed.
beautiful team.
Yes, indeed. We try to do what we can around here, you know. And I tell you, one of the things that we are happy to be able to do today is to bring you before a very grateful viewing public, Doc. These are tumultuous times. These are trying times, and it is a gift to us all. And I know I'm speaking for Tisha in regard to this too. It's a gift from us all that you are here with us to
Oh, yes.
share with us elemental understanding of how we can survive these terrible times. Even if you're not a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, even if you're not a Black activist, even if you're not a Black radical, you know that these are some interesting times in which we live. So I guess my first question to you as we welcome you is, how you feeling and how's the family? How y'all doing?
We're doing good. The family is great. They're still with me, so I'm still blessed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's the way we look at it. Yes, sir.
We as brothers, we can never take that for granted.
You're right. You're right.
So
You're
praise
right.
belongs to Allah, my family as well. I'm feeling good, dear
Yes,
brother
sir.
Neil and sister Keisha. I'm feeling good. It is,
I'm
as you said, this is a very perilous time.
Mm-hmm.
But even in that, I'm feeling good, and there's a reason that I'm feeling good in such time. And I guess we get to that momentarily.
Well, everybody's gathering around Dr. Muhammad. We are joined by our brothers from the Rockwell Radio Show, where you made the splash there.
DJ Rockwell,
Oh, yeah, DJ Rockwell is
shout
with
out
us tonight.
DJ Rockwell,
And
my brother.
Big Dave C is with us tonight
Shout
from
out
down there.
Big Brother Dave C.
Yes, sir. We're hearing from Brother Secretary Emeritus James and his lovely wife, Sister Michelle, up in Hartford, Connecticut. Knowledge is with us. And Knowledge, I love the way your name is just Knowledge. You say nothing,
Mm-hmm.
no, just Knowledge. Okay. T,
Sound like
T,
God body. Peace to the God.
Yes, yes, yes. Peace. And we have T. Farrell Muhammad from Detroit, Sister Patricia Reed down from Dallas, our family from Dallas, and just so much is there. Brother
Brother
Jerry
Jerry.
from suburban
Mm-hmm.
Maryland. It's too many to call. We'll get to everybody if we can. But
Yes.
everybody gather around. You know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe to the program. In fact, we need 32 new subscribers tonight to hit a platform that we have not hit yet. Just 1,000 viewers, then we can go live whenever we want to. Okay, very
Absolutely.
good, very good. That's, you said that's doable, Doc.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do that. Let's do it. I guess my question, and if you don't mind me starting off, T,
Go ahead.
how do you balance it all off, bro? How do you? I mean, with all the things that you have to do, you're teaching, you're traveling, you're writing, you're in writing scholarly works, you're writing books for public consumption, you're writing journalistic pieces. How do you do all of that and still manage that what they call life work balance with the family and with all of the things that you have to do? How do you do that? I guess that's the how to.
Well, if I would be honest, I'm not confident that the verdict would be that I have achieved balance.
Hmm.
I probably would not be given such credit.
Wow. Wow.
It
Um,
is a fact that in my family, and that's why I love my family, because they sacrifice much,
Hmm.
because I am absolutely obsessive with my work.
Yes.
Have been. This is not new. I am concretized, if you will, in my way of work. And that absolutely comes at a cost to other aspects of life. First and foremost, my dear family. So they sacrifice much. I'm a girl dad.
Yes.
yes,
I
yes,
do
sir.
have a son. Shout out to my son Islam. Love you, bro. He'll
Yes,
tell
sir.
you
Yes, sir.
I'm a girl dad.
Mhm.
My girls love their time with me, and I love my time with my girls. But they do lament, Daddy, why do you always have to work?
Hmm.
So I cannot take credit for the balance because it would be disingenuous. I'm striving, though. I'm
Yes, sir.
striving to do better. But
Mhm.
I'm trying to put, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the man's job is to put a star up in the sky.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
working to put a star up in the sky before I die.
Yes.
Wow.
Anything less than a star up in
Hmm.
that sky that I have achieved
Yes, sir.
would be unacceptable.
Wow. Putting a star up in the sky. And as if you couldn't tell, you're already listening and viewing the great Dr. Brother Wesley Muhammad, our brother and friend, longstanding in the nation and a soldier in the nation. He's not an ivory tower scholar. He's not a scholar who sits in the library all day and never walks the street among the
Mm.
people. He's our brother who actually performs this work in an action-based way. And I think that's what gives a lot of the credibility that you have, brother. I'm wondering about something else. Tisha, please stop me if I ask you too many questions, but
Go
I
ahead.
did want to ask, I know you will, but I did want to ask, bro, as you travel the country, in the different cities. You recently were in Rochester, New York, and you had from Memphis, Tennessee, and various different places around the
Las
country.
Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, I'm sure, was a great event. What is it that you're noticing about um, the main challenges to our people's survival around the country? What do you see as the main things that are happening?
Well, this, as you open the show, dear brother Jamil, this is a very perilous time
Mm-hmm.
for the world. It's a very perilous time for America in general. It's a very perilous time for white America. White
Mm,
have, after celebrating the tremendous victory that most people didn't see coming
Mm.
of the re-election of President Trump and the alliances that he had that helped him get there.
mhm, mhm.
For whites having celebrated that to now see Trump and Putin, they going at it.
Wow.
Trump and Elon,
Hmm.
they going at it.
Mm-hmm.
So we are seeing Satan casting out Satan, and they are seeing it
Mm,
too. So the Make America Great hope that they have, that wave, hopeful wave they've been riding for some time now, they're having reason to feel anxious about what they're witnessing in terms of Black people everywhere in America. We are still suffering from the shock of
mhm.
the victory because we're suffering from what Trump 2.0 has done. It
Mm-hmm.
has disabused us of the illusion and delusion
Right.
of inclusion.
Wow.
Say
We
that again now.
suffer
That I like the illusion and delusion.
of inclusion.
Wow.
We thought we were included in this society.
Mm,
And all of those thoughts, it's being disfused right now. So there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety among Black people. And that's the right time, place, and state for us, the Nation of Islam, to step in and be active among our people.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm hearing an echo in the audio. Please bear with us, dear audience. We want to make sure we can get that echo worked out for you. I'm going to defer the next question over to my wife because she has lots of other questions. And Dr. Wesley Muhammad, our guest tonight, is here with us for the entire hour. So if you have questions, go right in the chat, type your questions. We'll make sure we can get to as many of them as possible. But Sister Tisha, please go right ahead with your questions, huh?
I want to talk about also if you could help us with in these perilous times that we're in the extreme busyness that we're finding ourselves in, how important is it to find time to relax and recharge and ward off some of this stress that we may be carrying? What are some things that you could suggest that we do um, to make sure we keep ourselves, our mental health, in a healthy state?
That absolutely is critical.
Mhm.
Now, for me, my life is work. My happiness is family.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, I will never forget when I was a senior at Morehouse College in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
I was the president of the Nation of Islam Students Association on campus. We did a lot of good work. We planted the flag of Islam in Atlanta.
Praise be to Allah.
Did good work. And a fellow student from another class, she had a project and she wanted to interview me. And so she's asking her questions, and I'm bop, 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 doing my thing. And then she stunted me. She stopped me cold in my tracks
Mm.
with a question she asked. The question was, given all your bop, 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 what do you do to have fun? And that just arrested my whole development. It stopped me in my tracks
Wow.
because I had to think and think and think,
Yes.
and I could come up with no answer at all to her. What did I do to have fun? The entirety. I was not married. I was a college student. I didn't have family. The entirety of my life, the fullness of my mental space was occupied by the work.
Yes.
So now I can answer that question
Yes.
with no hesitation. What
Yes.
I do to have fun is spend time with my family. Family time is my fun time. That's my relaxation. That I used to take my work with me even on family outings.
Yes.
But I don't do that anymore. So, and when I am fully present in the family time,
Mhm.
that's when I'm most happy, rather than I'm dividing time between family and work.
Yes, sir.
So when I'm fully present, that's when I'm fully happy. So that's me, of course, in terms of what or how can I advise others in terms of the what I cannot. But the necessity too is critical.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Critical for our mental health. And we are psychosomatic beings.
Yes.
Absolutely are. Our physical, our physiology, whether we know it or not, unbeknownst to us or known to us, our physiology follows our neurology. Our physical state follows and reflects our mental state.
Mhm.
So we do have to find what it is that we can get enjoyment in and out of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm amazed by that answer, and I want to bear witness to you that you are striving in that way. When I called you a couple of days ago with some preliminaries for this particular broadcast, you said to me something that endeared you to me even more. You said, "Brother, I'd love to talk about it a longer time, but I'm with my family at the zoo,
Yes, sir.
enjoying the zoo
That's my fun
with
day.
the family."
That's
Yes.
my fun day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a great time.
Hmm. You
Yes,
gotta
sir.
love it. You gotta love it.
They tell you, I dragged them to the zoo because some of it wasn't as warm as we would like, but I wanted to go to the zoo with,
Hmm.
with my family. So I dragged them, but they enjoyed it. They loved it. We had a great, great time. That was my fun day.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I take from that, and Tisha, I'm sure you hear it the same way, that when you want to have a good time and fun within the marriage and family, do as Dad says.
Go.
That's
Oh,
that's what I'm hearing.
go to the zoo.
That's
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the zoo. As dad.
uh, Yeah.
Well, segue into the doing as Dad says.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Segue
uh,
into it. Is that
well,
important?
well, no, it definitely is. Let's talk about it in light of some discussions that we've had this past week, Tisha and Dr. Wesley. You have written um, extensively on the history and the development of the Black nation as the root and foundation of all knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that exists in the universe, as the Black man is God. I'm paraphrasing, but and please, if I'm wrong, stop me. But
That's true.
we often hear battling back and forth, men against women, males against females. You hear this battle of the sexes, and you hear all men are dogs, and these women ain't nothing, and back and forth.
Right.
And it's almost a continuous battle that seems to sap the strength out of our community. And many of our women, um, striving to get justice, striving to be safe, striving to be fully well and whole as individuals, have taken the language of what I think, and you can again correct me if I'm wrong, of the white feminist movement. And they rail against patriarchy. They rail against that sort of thing. That word patriarchy comes up often. But you've written, if I'm recalling correctly, about the differences in the way that patriarchy developed among different population groups. If it's different, how can we get to a wholesome expression of patriarchy and not a brutal, repressive one like this world shows us today?
Thank you. You know, something very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
On my either on Instagram or Facebook or both, lately, frequently, a particular post comes up.
Okay.
Some article that says, and it has a man and a woman close to each other, and the headline is, you know, science now says that marriage increases dementia.
Oh.
It increases what? Say it again, my brother.
Dementia, the onset of
Oh,
dementia.
wow. Oh, wow.
And that keeps coming up. And
Mm.
that is part of the general trend in America that is very anti-marriage.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
It encourages women to transcend motherhood,
Mm.
to deny motherhood, but in the language of this society, transcend motherhood. Motherhood is negative.
Mm-hmm.
And because motherhood tethers you to a man.
Okay.
mm,
That's a problem.
mhm,
Mhm.
And you want to be free of men in manhood. And so we live, Sister Keisha and Brother Jamil,
Yes.
live in the end of men era.
Mm.
wow.
This is the end of men era. I have not proclaimed it.
Mm,
Those who have envisioned the era in which men are not a factor. They are pushing this narrative that women don't need men, don't need marriage, and your greatest role isn't as mother. It really motherhood diminishes you as women, and you should transcend that. So get a dog. And so the new generations,
mm.
late millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha, when they get there, they are really being fed a narrative, an end of men narrative.
Man.
Now, with that narrative being
Mm-hmm.
throughout society, we as men need to offer a better, stronger counter argument.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We
That's
need
fair.
to offer. So if the narrative is you
That's
don't
fair.
need a man, our response needs to be better than what it is. We need to make ourselves indispensable, because unfortunately we have made ourselves too dispensable
Wow.
right now.
Wow.
And so, for example, it's when these brothers see, brother Jamil, our training, we FOI, we Nation of Islam Muslims. It isn't our training that we go Dutch. It isn't our training that me as man, I'm the half provider for my
Right.
that I provide for half of the bills or half of the need. Now, circumstance may require that, but our training is that we get to that we are not satisfied, we are not fulfilled unless we are fully in our role as men.
Yes.
Right. That's right.
We have no peace
That's right.
if we are not, until we get in our role as men. And so when we are not in our role as men, if we concede that to our woman and we accept her in our role as men, well, then you can see where there will be problems in the home, a Game of Thrones in the home, and it's hard if we're not being the man of the house.
Right.
We can't command the respect as man of the house.
Come on.
We should. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says we still deserve that respect, but we have to get ourselves in the position to not demand it, but to command it. And let me say something about this patriarchy thing. The white woman has made patriarchy a very bad word. And the new iteration of that is toxic masculinity.
Wow.
Right? That's the 2025 iteration of patriarchy. Just as patriarchy, as society uses that term, patriarchy is inherently, is ipso facto negative. Masculinity in 2025 is inherent ipso facto negative, because when they throw this term toxic masculinity around it, they use that to describe all measure of masculinity.
Right, right.
Any man oh, that's toxic. Any man who is not sufficiently feminine in our way, if we try to assert any masculinity in this world, that's toxic masculinity. So to be clear, as a historical note, then I'll shut up. I land this plane.
Now take your time, brother.
Patriarchy did not come with the white man. I have spoken on and distinguished Southern cradle patriarchy versus Northern cradle patriarchy.
Yes, sir.
Of course, the language comes from the great Sheikh Anta Diop, or Sheikh Anta Diop, his two cradle theory. Sheikh Anta Diop said that, or postulated that there are two zones of influence. The southern zone, based in Africa and all of the lands south of the Creator,
Okay.
where it's hot and warm. The southern cradle, the African cradle, where the weather is nice and the etiquette, the ethic is one of civilization, it's one of groupness, it's communal,
Yes.
versus the northern cradle that evolved through and by the ice age. It's bitterly cold. So the culture and the people that grew up in that cradle, that cold and brutal cradle, were a cold and brutal people.
Yes.
Cold and
Yes, sir.
brutal culture.
Yes,
Very
sir.
individualistic and bellicose. War, always inclined to war for the sake of war. That's a northern cradle versus a southern cradle. Now, Sheikh Anta Zope did say that a characteristic of the northern cradle was patriarchy, and he said that a characteristic of the southern cradle was what he called matriarchy,
Mm.
but matriarchy isn't what he meant.
Mm.
Okay.
Patrilineal is what he meant, but
Yes.
he used the language matriarchy. So what's the difference? Very important. Now, of course, patriarchy technically means man rule, or the rule of the man in society.
Okay.
Matriarchy, the rule of women in society. And patriarchy implies the rule of men as men. And matriarchy, the rule of women as women.
Yes.
Now, matriarchy, for the most part, never existed. And Sheikh Anta Zope distinguished the northern cradle as patriarchal and the southern cradle as matriarchal. That was a mistake on his part, because as he described the matriarchy of the southern cradle, he described a patriarchy. Men absolutely were in the ruling positions of society, but southern cultures are both matrilineal, is what he intended to say, because the king, his lineage, his right to be king, is traced through the lineage of the mother, of the woman. That's
Yes.
matrilineal.
Yes,
But
sir.
it's still the son, the man that rules, holds the highest political office. Now, so what we're talking about is patriarchy in the South, Southern patriarchy. But Southern patriarchy is a world different from Northern patriarchy.
Okay.
Northern patriarchy is very brutal because the white man, the white patriarch, is brutal by nature.
Yes.
So his rule is brutal to women. His rule is brutal to the animals. His rule is brutal to vegetation. He's just a brutal man. The problem isn't patriarchy. The problem is that particular patriarch. Now,
Yes, sir.
over in the South, patriarchy did rule. There was never a matriarchal society in Africa. Never. Not in ancient Africa. There were matrilineal societies, but there was no society where women ruled as women. That rulership was female. There were female rulers, absolutely, but those political structures did not privilege female, qua female, as ruler, as the structures, most structures did privilege male, qua male, as ruler. And so, for example, in ancient Egypt, yeah, a queen, Hatshepsut, was a pharaoh, but she had to wear a beard and disguise herself as a man.
Wow.
She had to present as a man in order to be pharaoh. She could not be the female Hatshepsut and be Pharaoh, because the Pharaoh was a distinctly male institution, but the Southern Patriarchy, the distinction of it, what
Yes, sir.
separates it from Northern Patriarchy. Southern Patriarchy recognizes the divine feminine. See, in Southern Patriarchy, the black man is God, the black woman is God too. The black woman
Yes.
is goddess. There
Yes, sir.
is a divine hierarchy, but see, that's the difference. In Northern Patriarchy, that patriarch, he viewed his woman as his slave, as his property. The divine feminine was not recognized in Northern Patriarchy, but the divine feminine is recognized in Southern Patriarchy. And my last
Yes,
point is the only true matriarchal society that we can confirm, it's European. Matriarchy, to the extent that it existed, is a European construct. How does that make sense? Very easy. Because matriarchy is a response, white matriarchy is a response to white patriarchy. And so Amazonism, right? Amazon, just like white feminism in America, is a response to white misogyny in America.
Right, right.
So matriarchy in its truest sense, the only example we have, as Sheikh Antazot points out, are the Amazons, and they were an Aryan group of women, and they are a response to the tyranny of Northern Patriarchy. But Southern Patriarchy is very different, because the Southern Patriarch, the man, recognizes the divine feminine, recognizes that his woman is God as well.
Yes.
All right now. Now, as Sister Katrina just put in the comments, you are listening to a master class tonight on
Yes.
Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. It has come to the bottom of the hour, just a little past. We're going to
Yes.
take a short break here, pause for the cause, if you will. We'll come right back out of this. Dr. Wesley has some announcements of his particular projects that he's working on, things that he's working to go to now. And you ought to stay right where you are. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Right. Assalamualaikum, family.
Assalamualaikum.
What are we saying? What are we doing? Woo! Assalamualaikum, family. Assalamualaikum, family.
Assalamualaikum.
We want to thank you for taking the time to tune into Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil
And Sister Tisha. We thank you for every Thursday night joining us for appointment viewing. 8 p.m. Not 8 a.m.
Yeah, I'm going to come in on the PM.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Thursday nights by YouTube, by Facebook, by Instagram, by all the other means by which we can be seen. But we thank you, because without you, as a matter of fact, here the Manhattans, there's no me without you.
We always do that. Assalamualaikum.
There's no me.
You didn't say assalamualaikum. You didn't say assalamualaikum.
Oh, assalamualaikum. I didn't see what was wrong with the singing myself. I didn't see what was wrong with it.
I didn't either.
That
was cute. That was good.
These brothers stick together, don't they, teach?
I'm trying to roll through here. There were so many questions. Let me find them back. They're just flowing. There was one, I want to find it. 2 seconds. The brother had asked when you were speaking on womanhood. Hold on, friends. Hold on, friends. It was from Dr. Lawrence. Here we go. He had a question. The topic of protection and womanhood. Is there a correlation between teen gun violence and the lack of protection and respect for womanhood? If so, what are some of the variables that contribute gun violence as they relate to the lack of protection of womanhood? That's a big one.
I would definitely say yes. A correlation between teen gun violence and the lack of the protection and respect for womanhood. Yes. One report said like every 4 minutes, a Black woman or girl is assaulted in America. And many of these are gunshot crimes, gun violence. A few things intersect here that has spawned this epidemic of gun violence against Black women. Things have converged to spawn this unfortunate phenomenon. One, of course, gun access, and we know that our community has been deliberately flooded with guns. Guns are made available and are pushed on our community, so our young brothers have all of these guns.
Yes.
At the same time, our young brothers, through the lead poisoning that so many of us in Black zip codes suffer from, combined with, add on top of that lead poisoning, the marijuana poisoning, THC poisoning, that the legalized marijuana use is going state by state by state. So these young men who have guns and already have a lead poisoning problem are now adding to the problem by their frequent consumption of this weaponized weed. Now, what the weaponized weed and the lead poison does, it attacks and diminishes a particular point or area of the brain, our prefrontal cortex. And that area of the brain is so important. It's important for our impulse control.
Yes.
Our ability to control the emotions and control our impulse. We need a healthy functioning prefrontal cortex in order to not be impulsive, in order to be able to check and control our impulses, our emotions. But when our prefrontal cortex is damaged and diminished, which lead poisoning and this weaponized THC both do, so we have a population of hyper impulsive, hyper emotional young men.
Yes.
Very emotional.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Go from 0 to 10, nigga, real quick. That's an average young brother. And they got guns. And so our sisters don't stand a chance. So much of the violence is impulsive, passionate violence, gun violence against our sisters. So we, in that particular state, dear sister, we cannot be protective of our woman. We have to be functional in our brain, properly functional, in order for us as men to do our job. That's why it is not. We aren't tripping when we say leave that weaponized weed alone. We're not tripping when we say we're
Yes.
not being on a moral high horse when we are asking our people to desist from partaking of this chemical warfare, alcohol and drugs. We can, all of this has a particular effect on the brain of the black man. The black man is God, but not when our brain is so damaged and diminished.
Come on.
We
Mm-hmm.
cannot be God. We cannot be who we are
Wow.
with without our brain being maximally functional. It's not our muscle that make us God.
Mm.
It ain't our money that make us God.
Teach.
It certainly isn't our genitals that make us God, black man. It is the divine mind
Yes.
makes us God, but we have to have a proper functioning, healthy brain in order for us to manifest
Yes,
divine
sir.
mind, in order for us to be who we are supposed to be in our home.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, the gun violence that our sisters fall victim to at our hands.
Mm.
There's several factors that lead to that. And so, yes, they are absolutely connected. Yes,
Mm.
sister.
Ooh-wee. Man,
Wow.
you're watching Dr. Wesley Muhammad on Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. I am so sorry, brothers and sisters, that I did not do this earlier. And I want to make sure that we get to it before the end of our time. We have another good 10, 11 minutes to be with Dr. Wesley this evening. So please go into the chat, ask your questions, but more importantly, indicate in the chat, if I may ask, would you like to see a part two of this program? Just put in the chat, part two.
Part two.
Part two. Because like every good James Brown record, it's got to be a part one and a part two on the back of the 45. So
James Brown set the template, didn't he?
yeah, there he did. There he did. So I want you all to indicate that you'll be with us for part two because this is such a powerful discussion and there's so many points that need to be made. I'm looking in the chat like you were, Tish, and as I see people coming into the chat, there are so many great and compelling questions. One question from my brother James in Dallas, Texas. Y'all know him, Cornbread. My
Cornbread.
brother, Cornbread is in the chat. He says, where can I get copies of Dr. Wesley's books that may be out of print? Because as people do, and we talked before coming on the air, that there are bookaholics among us. Okay,
Yes.
that we are among you at this time. But where can we buy the books that we need from Dr. Wesley? Where can we do that, my dear brother?
www.drwesley.info, info. So drwesley.info, you can access the books that I have available.
Wow, amazing. All right. Also, we want to thank for being in the chat your fellow Detroiter, your Spellman sister, and now your sister in the Nation of Islam in this labor. Our sister from Chicago, now laboring at there, Mas Mariam, Sister Katrina. Thank you for joining us. So
Thank
many
you,
others
sister.
that are with us tonight, Brother Akil, Captain Akil in the greetings. All of the
Oh,
folk,
the
yeah,
great Captain
the
Akil.
great Captain Akil. Look at here.
Look at here.
He's with us tonight in the chat. So, and of course, Dr. Lawrence, who we've heard from, so many others. I can't name us all, but dear brothers and sisters, stick with us. And I'm seeing part two, part two, part two. Do you
Part
see it,
five.
Philip? Somebody said part five. Okay. So take it easy, folks. We don't want to be greedy, okay? But tonight it's a very special opportunity for us to hear from our brother. But I'm moved by something, brother. I'm thinking about you. I said it earlier. You're an accessible public intellectual. You're a person that people can walk up to you and just talk to you at the coffee shop. You can't do that with other people who pretend or portend or deport themselves as if they have scholarship and academic achievement. I thank you for that. But my question as a member of the minister's research team and the Shura Council of the Nation, what do you think is your dearest moment that you had since the minister summoned you to headquarters? Like, what was something that touched your heart that always stays with you and make you smile about your time with Minister Farrakhan? Because a lot of us would love to be there. We're not there like you are, but what sticks in your mind about him?
By God's grace, as of right now, my time is still with the Honorable Brother Minister Patriarchy.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I'm still living in that moment. There was not a one moment. This has been a 13-year moment
Beautiful.
right now.
Wow.
And the whole ride, Sister Tisha and Brother Camille, the whole ride is such a moment that really can't be put in words. What,
Mhm.
as you know, Brother Camille, being with the gift of being at the foot of Jesus
Yes, sir.
is that you are grown in your humanity.
Hmm.
Now, when we are this close to the man of God,
Yes.
and through him this close to God, that proximity introduces us to ourselves.
Mm.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. It inherently brings up out of us who we are. And the minister's way is such that it triggers
Yes,
us
sir.
and introduces us to ourselves. Now, that is a very humbling blessing. It's a very perilous walk if we don't recognize it for what it is,
Yes, sir.
walk it correctly. So being in the presence of the divine, it introduces us to our good, our bad, and our ugly. You know, Sister Tisha, we're all human, right?
Yes.
Born in sin and shaped in the iniquity of this world. That's humanity, right? We're human. And so as we relate to each other, we can respond in very human ways to each other, and we accept it. Okay, we're human. That was a human reaction. But when you are blessed to have proximity to God, our humanity can reveal itself as satanic.
Mm.
So what in other circumstances will be a normal human reaction to another human. But if we react that way to God,
Mm.
then we run the that's our Satan coming up in us. And so that's what I mean. Being blessed to have such proximity to the divine, it inherently exposes us to the good, the bad, and the ugly of us. That's what it's supposed to do. Now, we are supposed to get acquainted with who we are. The good we grow, we build on.
Yes.
Bad we correct. The ugly we keep. That's how we transcend our current humanity and grow into a new human being. that is my moment with the Honorable Minister Bush Farrakhan. It's a
Yes, sir.
13-year moment. There is not one incident. It's a 13-year moment with this man of God. And I am tremendously humbled. I am tremendously honored. And I would be a liar if I didn't say 13 years in, I'm still tremendously scared.
Yeah.
Because I have, in this time, I have been brought face to face. My good, some of my good, some of my bad, and some of my ugly. And so we got to correct the bad. We got to kill the ugly.
Yes, sir. There it is. The voice of learned authority from our brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. You have overwhelmingly indicated in the chat, both on YouTube and Facebook, that you prefer a part two. We can promise you that off the air, we will ask Dr. Wesley when and if his schedule permits him to come back. And if he does, we want everybody to join us right here for part two. As you can tell from the clock on the wall, we've reached the end of part one, but I do have one other admonition and request of you. And that is, it's not an admonition in a bad sense, but it is just a request. I'm going to ask that everyone, we've had all the new viewers and listeners tonight. I'm going to ask that because we have had one new subscriber, just one. And we're asking that 31 more of you go right now to the subscribe button on your YouTube. If you're over on Facebook, come on over to YouTube. You'll see us there, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. And go ahead and click the subscribe button. It will give us more options about how we can broadcast and respond to broadcasts of others right here in the YouTube format, which we intend to respect and go by all of the rules here on YouTube. You know, that's what we do, right? So I'm going to turn you over to my beloved co-host. She's going to say a word, then we're going to give the final word in the remaining, oh gosh, it's only 30 seconds. I've never seen Dr. Wesley do it. You think he can do? I think he can do it. Tish, what do you think?
He can do it. He can do it
He can
all.
do it. Let's leave the final word to our brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad.
My words are only thank you, Sister Tisha, Brother Jamil. This was a great conversation, a great show. I enjoyed myself immensely. And you two are doing a great work. Your use of this platform. It's responsible, it's funny, it's engaging. Keep up the great work.
Thank
Thank
you, beloved. We love you. May Allah bless you and your family and all of you who watch Nothing But the Truth each week. You know your family. Next
you.
week, we're going to broadcast live from the bustling metropolis of Bloomington, Illinois, from the wedding ceremony on Thursday night of our brother and musical director of this program, Brother Gary Muhammad. You don't want to miss that. We're going to have a party. Do, 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 do. Whatever. We're going to do the thing. May Allah bless us all. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Some
alaikum
like
salam.
family.